link. But now the players are in. There's the good luck. Have fun. And we're going directly into game 2 of Huck versus LaLush, the second to last match of the day. Can Liquid Huck close the series out with a 2-0, or will LaLush make a comeback? Here we are. We are in the first game. In the top left corner, we have the Canadian player from Team Liquid, Liquid Huck. And in the top right, the Zerg from Team Millennium.org. It is LaLush.
And I'm interested in the map choice here by LaLush. And because Huck is easily going to go ahead and go fast expand, and it's quite difficult to play against. Especially because there's so many mid-game pushes that you can kill. We saw MC utilize these mid-game pushes against Sen, taking out the third base, using sentries so efficiently. And we're going to have to see what Huck has got prepared for this. And I mean, LaLush could have something up his sleeve, could pull it out, and he might not even be able to go for... Aww.
Classic. Huck. And, you know, interesting thing to note, I have never seen Huck not do this. In even private replays of his practice with his teammates, you'll see him just making hearts, but that's fine because he has 300 APM. He has the extra actions left over. And look at him. Oh, he's right-clicking the mineral patch. He's glitching the drones away. Watch this as he clicks, preventing the drones from mining. Very nice early micro maneuver.
And making use of that 300 APM then. And he's got the spawning pool. Well, he had to build the spawning pool first because this drone was there. Could have easily chased down the drone that was going to go for the hatchery. And now we do have Huck actually saving up for Nexus first. Now seeing that the spawning pool wasn't that early, didn't get the extractor first, can quite easily get away with doing this. And didn't scout any 9 or 10 pools. And go ahead, get Nexus first and have an even better economy than the standard Forge Expand here.
So, I mean, one of the main reasons why you do go for a Nexus first on this map always is you go Forge, Gateway, and if you're really under pressure, you just build another Gateway to wall it off completely. This is why this is widely considered to be the worst map for Zerg to do any sort of all-in cheese against a Protoss. It is a solid wall. You can hold off almost anything with, ooh, that is a big, wide open hole in that front entrance for Huck. That could potentially be a vulnerability if LaLush decides to exploit it.
And LaLush is going to go down now and get that hatchery finally up around 20. And is going to chase the probe out. And we'll take complete map control from now on. We'll take both the Zalnaga towers. We'll plant just outside the ramp to see if anything is being made. And we do have a pylon completing that wall off, as you talked about just now, with a cannon behind it. And now a second gateway being added on here. And we'll most likely be changing that for a cybernetics core very soon.
I mean, I actually think this is a little bit of a misplay by Huck. This gateway is going to have a lot of damage dealt to it before it ends up getting canceled. Oh! Ordinarily, you cancel it, replace it with a cybernetics core, but look at LaLush smartly noting exactly what's up. Will LaLush move in? No. Huck gets the cybernetics core down and even has a probe down here at the bottom to maybe build a proxy.
And very late gas here from Huck. Hasn't taken them yet. Okay, he's going to take both now. But LaLush does see the double gas has been taken. And there's a couple of options Huck can go into now. He can either go for a Stargate play, which I don't think is very viable, just because a lot of players are used to playing against that now, and will get an early Evo chamber and an extra Kreen and start that creep spread connecting to that third base ASAP. And I guess the other options he can go into is a very strong mid-game gateway push, collided with +1. So we'll have to see what choice Huck does decide to go for.
Looks like LaLush will be expanding. Now this is a pretty typically timed third base right before the 6-minute mark, but you know what? No Zergling speed yet. I think that can be a big problem for the Zerg going into the later stages, because you know what? There's just almost no way to really do a lot of damage to any sort of aggression that Huck wants to pull off at the start. Huck not quite deciding what one of his own building he wants to kill off.
And he's building a sentry, first of all. Looking in Huck's vision now, doesn't really see too much. Is going to be getting a sentry to help block the ramp, and still no Stargate or no tech path chosen yet, but he has gotten this double assimilator quite early on down at this natural.
Given the timing of this +1, I think he's going to use a trick from OGS MC's sleeves. He's been stealing the sleeves of his teammates, Apollo. He's going to be throwing down 6, maybe even up to 7 gateways, exactly what OGS MC did versus Sen. We've seen this timing. 2 gas at the expo, 2 gas in the main. Here comes the flood of gateways. And LaLush is going to see it, but will he be able to hold it off?
Hopefully he should be able to. He's going to go in there now. He scouts the natural, sees there's nothing being hidden there, sees the forge being upgraded with that +1, and is also going to go inside the main and see 3 gateways. And that's the problem with going for this build, is that you literally don't have enough units out to stop the overlords going in. And that's why you send in 2 at one time, because the sentries cannot defend against these overlords. And now that 5th gateway has been added on by Huck. And the thing is now, compared to the Sen game, is that LaLush has early scouting information and sees this very, very fast. And actually, Huck added on a robotics facility too. This can be for an observer to help the creep spread, to help against Borrow, but more importantly, can be used for Immortals to fight off against early roaches, which it looks like LaLush is going to be going for.
Been looking a lot inside Huck's main, but we are seeing the Roach Warren is down, layer almost up. There's the Geyser in the main, 2 more at the expansion, and that 3rd is up and running very healthy. Look at the food count. 58 drones versus 51 probes. Huck doing a marvelous job keeping up with his opponent. 10 roaches about to pop out, but Huck might be going for that very Naniwa-esque Blink Stalker Immortal mixture. And look at Huck just expanding after building a ton of gateways. What is the unit mix like? Only 7 sentries. What a brilliantly timed expansion by Huck.
And this is going to be interesting because LaLush has no idea about it. He's lost map control because of these sentries in the middle of the map. And looking at his vision, he doesn't really have any overlords anywhere. And looking at his vision looks like looking through a Protoss or Terran player's eyes. And now he tries to regain vision of the Xel'Naga towers. The north one is the most important one, which would have revealed that expansion. But very smart play here by Huck, taking full map control. And LaLush can't engage off creep until Roach speed is done.
And you know, I think the thing that we were worried about at the start of the game is really hurting LaLush here. Zergling speed finished only about 1 minute ago, which means that these Zerglings were not able to scout the front, were not able to prevent this expansion from planting down. And now, while we see LaLush preparing for a giant gateway all-in, Huck doing the exact opposite, throwing down an expansion. It is now up, and there comes Immortals and a big +2 upgrade.
And now the 3rd base cannons have been completed too, so the usual style we've been seeing from LaLush and a lot of other Zerg players is a lot of counterattacks, but the cannons are going to deflect it. But these Stalkers caught out of position, no blink to get away.
And those roaches doing huge damage. Sentries in a little bit of a bind, but some perfect force fields from Huck. Going to help him stay alive. He's going to have to do a lot more than perfect force fields if he wants to hold this off. He's going to need to reinforce with gateway units. We see more units swarming in. The Immortal does pull back. This pylon falls. Huck has to defend this very well. Some good force fields, but this is a big delay. If LaLush floods with some more speed Zerglings, Huck could be in a lot of trouble.
Very nice hold there by Huck, though, using the force fields very well, and the cannons even better. That first photon cannon has 7, the second one has 2, the back one has 3, so very nice by Huck, but more continued roaches coming out. Wow. But the second Immortal is about to pop, and combined with his force fields and the rest of the army, because they're about to be +2 as well, Huck should be able to fight this army quite well. The key difference is going to be that 4 Infestors are about to pop, and that could change everything.
And there they are advancing forward. Oh, the Immortal gets taken down, and suddenly Huck, who had that key unit, is in a bind. No more force fields. The Roaches doing gigantic amounts of damage. 1 force field not going to prevent the retreat. Huck still holding on strong. Can LaLush pull in?
And LaLush forgetting about upgrades until now. Key difference in that fight, LaLush 0-0 Roaches. Had they been 1-0, that would have made the world of difference. But Huck does have that +1, about to be +2, and can start +3 not so long from now. Is getting Colossus and changing into that fully now, stopping the Immortals and does have 2 robotics facilities going from here. Going to help out a lot against these infestors, but now another attack comes in, and this is going to hit way before that thermal lance comes down.
You see a bunch of pylons getting thrown by Huck. These are going to be used to bait damage from LaLush. Brilliant move. One Colossus caught way off guard at the left. We see LaLush not sure if he wants to attack or retreat, losing a lot of units as he's in that moment of indecision, and Huck seems to be stabilizing absolutely magnificently. And whoa, calm down, Huck. He's using a little bit too many of that 239 APM to build those Colossi, now finally backing off and getting a great mix of gateway units and heavy Colossus play.
And +3 now finally started for Huck, and only now +1 is finished for LaLush. He's gone straight into +1 ground carapace, but these upgrades from Huck are going to make a lot of difference in these fights. And Huck's army looking pretty strong now, and the way that he will look to try to get a 4th base most likely is going to be the north position. And as long as he cannons the destructible rocks on the other side, it's going to be a very, very safe 4th base to take for Huck. And +3 is getting chrono boosted out. It finishes so fast with chrono boost, and it most likely finish before this +2 finishes for LaLush here.
Now it looks like Huck beginning to move out. Does not move out with the Stalkers yet, and wow, that blink is very late, especially for Huck. Looks like LaLush is going to ride out to meet him and then decide that that is not a good idea. And there's a great fungal growth, but man, the force fields from Huck, what an answer. We see the Spine Crawlers trying to get thrown up. Can he get this defense up in time? His Greater Spire is halfway done, but no Broodlords seem close to pop yet.
And this is a great attack by Huck. Gonna kill down these Spine Crawlers before they finish. Corruptor's finally doing damage. Great fungal growth. Infested Terrans are gonna make a world of difference here, but the roaches just melt so fast.
Looks like one of the Colossus falls, and wow, LaLush overtaking this force. The infested Terrans making the difference. And now LaLush ripping apart the Colossus. Only one remains. He will be pulling these back, and as we can see, the Greater Spire about to finish up. I am shocked that LaLush is in this good of a position.
I'm even more shocked at Huck going for the attack there. Understandably because of the Broodlords and the Spine Crawlers, but he could have waited for +3 and Blink to finish. They're just finishing now, but he's got no army anymore. And that was a kind of a bad timing, I feel. And now LaLush is in a great position. Great use of Infested Terrans there. Did a lot of damage combined with that fungal growth.
We do see 4 Broodlords getting produced. And one of the greatest sayings I've been hearing crop up so much, Zerglings are not the only way to spend your minerals if you have too many of them. We're seeing LaLush flood with Spine Crawlers in the center, a technique that Zergs like Maro, Zergs like HeyPro have been using throughout this tournament. And now LaLush is looking to be in a good position going into the late game. Suddenly this fast 3 base by Huck is not looking as stable. It's actually suddenly meaning that Huck is running low on minerals at his second, almost out of minerals in his main. Can Huck do the necessary damage?
Yeah, he needs to take that north location ASAP and even get ready to take a 5th base, because he always wants to be mining from 3 bases. And 2, like you said, 2 of them are about to mine out. He also needs to concentrate a lot more on Stalkers. He needs to be very Stalker heavy fighting against these Broodlords. And if he can get some key blink underneath these Broodlords, it's going to be so important to fight against this. But now he's going to go ahead and force a cancel on this expansion and then back out from here.
Now, what will be the tech pattern choice of LaLush? A lot of Zergs have been saying that the Infestor Broodlord mix is near unstoppable due to the fact that if you get a fungal growth on those Blink Stalkers, they cannot blink. They become anti-Blink Stalkers. They actually can't even move at all. They just have to sit there and get swarmed by Broodlings. And it looks like, interestingly, we do see all the remaining upgrades going down on that Robo Bay, the Observer speed, but in particular the War Prism speed. We're also seeing extra Immortals pop out for Huck as he is now getting Templar Archives to add on to his 7 Colossus.
And if we just revert our memories back to when Damaga played against Soke, and Damaga had such an advantage and sat there, Soke crawled back from a lot worse position than Huck was in just now. So he has to be careful about that. Huck again denying, not even having a cancel on that Expo. So you have to be so careful about sitting back against Protoss. And once you have a lot of money, you need to be getting into engagements in good positions.
Oh, and look at this. LaLush killing off his own roaches to free up a little bit more food for more Broodlords. Right now he is sitting at 11. There is an Overseer. There is a 12th Broodlord going down. A full StarCraft 1 control group worth of Broodlords. And in this passive period, Huck just suddenly taking all the expansions at the south side, opening up the rocks for the north expansion. LaLush trying to take extra bases, but really just needs to get additional upgrades and begin a slow push. And oh, Hydras are great with Broodlords, because of the fact that the Broodlings absorb all the damage, the Infestors do damage from afar. This is one of the most awesome late game styles. Really, LaLush, one of the only Zergs I've seen use it.
Like you said, it's going to be very hard to fight against this army, and now these two upgrades are about to finish, +3 and +2 for LaLush, and he will definitely try to engage here with these Broodlords.
Looks like he's trying to bait a blink, and there it is. Huge fungal growths go down, but the target firing from Huck is monstrous, picking apart these Broodlords, but oh no! The Stalker count getting surprisingly low, but Huck with his almost 11 gateways, can he replenish enough? The answer is no. Huck must retreat again.
And very equal supplies now, 154 for Huck versus 165. The drone count is 87 drones for LaLush, 74 probes. But this is a huge Colossus count now. And there were just too many Broodlords, not enough Corruptors there. And you can see because the Colossus is so high. And I love the switch from Huck now, knowing he's got so many Colossus. He's gone for a lot of Immortals here to help combat against those roaches on the ground tanking.
And oh my gosh, his Immortals so angry they're killing off their own forges. But you know, if I were trapped, I would be upset too. I would shoot anything nearby. And we are seeing Huck is using a very subtle late game technique that can really cinch a win in this spot. He's just going to bounce back and forth and kill off these two expansions, the one at the south and the one at the north, and try to lock LaLush onto 4 bases and pray that this early base will extend him into a 5-base lead. These two observers beautifully positioned to find out which one is vulnerable.
And I'm looking at the unit count. There's not too many units really for Lush. There's a lot of Broodlords, but on the ground are just 11 Hydras and 6 Roaches. And Huck's force is very dominant. And with these storms as well, it's going to be very hard to combat. They can do so many storms. They can also feed back all these Infestors. And then the Stalkers will really be strong. And look at that, 2 Warp Prisms in the making now for Huck.
In the words of my co-commentator, this is absurd. Great, great opening play by Huck that he's transitioned into a very solid late game. And this is one thing that is consistently impressive about Huck. Well, not that blink. He just blunked right into a wall. That must have hurt. Walking into a wall hurts enough. Try teleporting into it, Diapollo. There he goes, finally taking it out. You know, you see Huck have really cool, refined openings, but it is very hard to have a well-thought-out late game. But Huck demonstrating that here, again, targeting this expansion up top and this expansion down below. I'm going to accentuate that with speed warp prisms on all sides.
Oh wow, they're going in, and they will be morphing DTs in the north and the south all at the same time while going through the middle to do a lot of damage here. And watch out for these feedbacks. You need to find the Infestors. Infestors all move towards the back of the army, and in come these DTs. He doesn't really have too much food though. DT at the north, and it's going to do a lot of damage here. And another DTs will be in the south, but he's got too much supply.
We see all the spine crawlers lifting up, making their way into the center of the map. This is terrible news for Huck. This is the opposite of what he wants to do. He needs to do a lot of damage. There's some storms go off, but not so good. Those Broodlords are not roaches. They cannot burrow underground to heal. In the main, we do see those Dark Templar manage to take out a queen. In the center, huge storms. Huck going for the push. The spine crawlers mostly not
Feedbacks
burrowed.
on the Infestors as well, Sean. Oh my god, all the Broodlords are so damaged. But does LaLush have enough?
But it looks like there are almost no Stalkers. 4 Stalkers on the field. The Broodlords ruling the sky, ripping apart all of these ground units. But the DT from Huck, 17 kills. Master Dark Templar finally gets taken down, but there's another Warp Prism down in the south position. LaLush's slow and steady play might be too much.
And there's no DTs. I'm not sure why Huck hasn't warped any DTs in at the south location. There it is. No, it's a million zealots, all right. And should be able to take down this hatchery very, very fast. And that is great play by Huck. Really harassing late game. More Stalkers are ready to combat again, though.
Well, there's still not that many. There are more Broodlords than there are Stalkers on the field. And there's some great fungal growths. Absolutely murdering the Stalker count. More Hydralisks reinforced, but that was just a ploy so that way Huck could take down the south base. Huck brilliantly putting this game into a war of attrition. We are seeing the full skills of both of these players in this game. We are now seeing the +3 flyer carapace and +2 attack. We see the almost max upgrades on range. The one thing that is not upgraded is the melee attack that will make those Broodlords significantly weaker. But my god, 10 Broodlords, and that number will still be increasing as the game goes on.
And Huck should definitely focus more on harassment. If he whooped in a few more DTs into the main, could kill the Infestation Pit, could kill the Great Aspire. And that's the problem with late game. As a Zerg player, it's very, very difficult to actually defend against all this harassment. And now Huck going in for another large engagement here.
And LaLush with the faraway superior army, Corruptors, Infestors, Broodlords, taking almost no total damage, but Huck does not care. Again, a beautiful distraction to do the damage he needs at one of the only remaining expansions for the Zerg.
Wow, Huck is awesome at this now, and a lot of pylons being warped in now. I don't really know why it looks like. Is that another heart maybe in the middle of the map?
TL, Team Liquid, the pylons forming the letters of his team. And there is, it looks like a heart, but a very poorly done one. And there's the next swarm in of units. And it looks like he takes down that expansion at the right. And the expansion at the south, just keeping LaLush low on bases.
Wow, Huck, I can't believe he's actually wrote that down in the middle of this game. And a lot of damage from these DTs, doing so much damage to these Hydras here. And the economy of LaLush in complete shambles now. And even though his economy is very poor at the moment, the food count is very equal still.
Now, I think this may have been a little bit of a preemptive heart from Liquid TLO due to the fact that we're seeing LaLush, ooh, this could be dangerous. We're seeing LaLush start to get momentum. We're starting to see he's getting the critical amount of Broodlords. We're seeing 2 more Broodlords get produced right now. That will bring the total count up to 15.
Huck decided he didn't like that heart anymore and kills it off, no problem.
Hearts are serious business. And being Cupid of his own constructions. And we do see, looks like he will be able to pick off these Templar, but can he storm in time? Youch does manage to take off just a few drones, but that one single War Prison is still alive. And again, a distraction to kill off the expansion, and Huck knows that that army from LaLush is much stronger than his. Oh no, the fungal growth going to be able to pick off a good amount of units. Look at that Broodling count. Just sweeping across. When will LaLush decide to make the big push?
And it looks like it may be now. He keeps losing expansion after expansion. Stalkers harassing the other expo now at the south location. The late game harassment of Huck is second to none. Incredible. And now LaLush might be forced to go all in here with all these units and not really focus on his economy anymore. He has so many Broodlords though. And he's actually going to go back to try to defend against these Stalkers, as they might be able to pick off that hatchery if he hadn't.
It looks like LaLush revealing that he has the same game plan as Huck. Just checking to make sure these inner expansions don't get taken, but it is the north that LaLush really needs to worry about. Honestly, I think that LaLush should sacrifice the south expansion, hold this one, push the north, and wherever Huck is expanding, that is where LaLush should be attacking. Is he going to lose another? Yes! Looks like Huck does manage to take out another Infestor. Crazy game up to this point in time.
Indeed, and Huck now add on a bunch of cannons to this north location, and once that goes up, it's going to continue with Huck's money, and he's got so much money in the bank just looking at that. And even adding on another expansion here, and slowly but surely, Huck is about to have the +3 shields, and he's warping in more DTs into the main, and can go ahead and do a lot of damage. 4 kills so far, and the Overseer does come up, and we'll be able to get rid of these 2 DTs.
Oh no, with no plus attack upgrade, he's doing virtually no damage to any of these DTs. Look at how hard it is to kill a Dark Templar if you're just a pack of Zerglings. That is exhausting. What a grueling effort. And it looks like it's going to be perhaps an attempt, and we see some big storms going off. Huck deciding he's had enough. No more spelling on the map. He wants to end this game. Instructor DT with 14 kills, going to be able to take out another Queen. A big push in mid. Is this going to be a big mistake for Huck? No, he is carefully pulling everything back, maximizing use of this Dark Templar. Again, an exhausting effort to kill off a DT.
And another DT in the main as well, killing an Extractor, and can go ahead and kill that Infestation Pit. And Huck, again, being very cautious with his units in the middle of the map, all these Stalkers, and killing a lot of Hydras there. And slowly, Huck is still wearing down LaLush from all different angles without even engaging him.
This is a point in time where LaLush needs to build Spine Crawlers and Spore Crawlers. That is going to be the only way that he can hope to defend against this sort of relentless attacking. And Huck again takes down the South expansion.
And Huck's actually forced to engage here, loses a lot to the Fungal Growth, and now the Corruptors are caught in a Fungal Growth as well. But they are doing so much damage and take forever to go down with +3 armor and +3 shields. But once again, Huck is going to be able to max out again. But look at this, so much damage inside the main of LaLush. Evo Chamber gone, Infestation Pit gone. Wow.
I mean, LaLush cannot afford to lose his Hive and Greater Spire. He absolutely cannot. The Warp Prism is right there, LaLush. LaLush needs to take that out. He has a giant army of Broodlords and Infestors, and oh, Huck almost makes the mistake that would cost him his whole army, but pulls back, recognizing the situation he's in. LaLush does not realize that these Warp Prisms are still alive. And again, Huck kills the South Expo.
And looking at the drone count now, 20 versus 76. Incredible play by Huck, just over and over and over again, harassing, and is going to kill these Extractors here as well. LaLush soon has to go all in with his units. The thing is that he's at 182 supply. Actually, it looks like Huck is going to go ahead and engage now.
This, I think, is a big blunder from Huck. A lot of his units are vulnerable, and the 15 Broodlords, he tries to blink to get underneath, but the Broodlord count is ridiculous. Oh my god, Huck sacking his whole army.
Wow. 10 more Stalkers have been warped in though, so in total now we have 21 Stalkers. Is this the time for LaLush to go out and try to take this victory? He doesn't quite have the economy. Huck doesn't even, hasn't started mining from this bottom new location, and now warping in a bunch of cannons to defend it. Has so much minerals at the moment, and hasn't taken gas at the north location. Huck starting to play a little bit sloppy now, and you can see that he needs to get gas to start to build up that army again. And at the same time, LaLush is moving down to try and get rid of that Warp Prism finally. Oh no, it's going to turn around.
Now this is a very odd situation, I think, for Huck, because in traditional Zerg play, the Zerg would really be convinced that he had lost at this point. The Zerg would have really no answer to this giant endless army of 3/3/3 ground units, but LaLush coming up with a very, very clever late game where he has an absurd amount of Broodlords and has the Infestors to lock down, but most importantly, the Hydralisks, units that are rarely used due to how quickly they fall to the Colossi, can easily begin to deal tons of damage from the ground. The problem now is that LaLush is essentially dead broke, and it's going to have to all come down to Huck's aggression, because I think that Huck will lose this north expansion.
I don't know, it looks like Lush is going to turn around, and Huck going in, engaging again.
Hydral's caught at the front, not what he wants, but again, Great Fungal Growth picking off all of those Stalkers. The expansion will manage to stay alive. Look at the Broodling count out on the field right now.
Wow. Incredible play by LaLush, but once again, Huck is maxed out, has so much money, and now Assault is going onto this Nexus. Will it go down? So many Broodlords, and Huck can't afford to lose this Nexus, definitely can't.
Oh no, even if he blinks under, there are more Broodlords than there are Blink Stalkers here. He's going to pull back just a smidge, and then begin murdering this from the low ground. Another Fungal Growth falls, and it looks like LaLush may very well take this out. Look at this, Diapollo, more than 11,000 more resources lost from Huck.
Wow, and I don't know. The thing is that slowly but surely Huck is wearing down the army, and now he's going to go in, more Broodlords going down, but they have +3 armor. They take forever to die against Stalkers.
Oh my god, it looks like he gets 1 Broodlord. Can he get any more? The answer is yes, he gets 1 more, but that is going to be it. Oh my gosh, a full 16 Blink Stalkers. Huck just trying to throw as many units as he can. He is not going to try to be efficient. He is just going to try to keep attack moving. Will it work? Huck putting everything into this final push.
And it's slowly going to work, Sean, because the Broodlings are going down. The Colossus are killing the Broodlings before they even do damage. And it looks like Huck is going to overwhelm with his resources. 180 food versus 100. And Huck finally clears out all the Broodlords. And wow, LaLush's incredible Broodlord army has been melted.
Wow, Huck with the brilliant response, waiting till just enough units, having an insane amount of gateways spread all over the map, flooding Stalkers, and there it is.
GG.
A good game. Woo. Huck now undefeated in his group. What an incredible display of skill from both players. I mean, LaLush with the unusual late game mix, and then Huck with the brilliant response to it. Huck easily deserving an undefeated spot in his group.
That's absolutely insane. I mean, it's so breathtaking watching Huck play there, and despite being in the middle of a game that wasn't quite over, it took the time to go ahead and say TL Heart with pylons in the middle of that, which is pretty sick to do. But the late game harassment of Huck, second turn on, absolutely insane. Having those DTs coming in all the time, do you like that word? Having DTs coming in all the time, Zealots, Stalkers, over and over. Fantastic play by Huck. And the next game, Huck again, right?
Huck versus Moon will be coming up shortly after the break, but I just wanted to reiterate again how brilliant that response was by Huck. And you know, there was that point where Huck was basically thinking, yeah, I got this, and built the TL Heart, and then was like, ooh, I didn't win, and then had to kill off his own heart so we had a better arc in the center of the map. And then Huck continually harassing with those warp prisms, and I cannot believe how smart that last play was. Every single maxed army versus maxed army engagement that we saw, Huck was coming out far on the losing end. The only way he was able to win was by flooding those Stalkers. He had to probably throw down almost that full 5K, 3K worth of banked minerals just to be able to pick off those Broodlords. What an epic final match.
Chris Yo-Yo Harassment Loringer, that's crazy. And I think Huck wants to take a quick break before we go into that final game, though. But we are slipping behind on the schedule, but we will be bringing the next game very shortly. Sean, how long do you think it'll be?
Well, we will be back as soon as we can. Should be about 10 minutes. So, hey, take a little breather, take a little break. We're not going anywhere because when we come back, we will be having Huck versus Moon. I'm Day 9.
And I'm D Apollo.
This is Dreamhack Summer 2011, the last group stage match coming up right after this.
The faster, lighter protection. ESET Nod 32 antivirus gives you less lag and more frag for your Windows, Mac or Linux computer.